Hello and welcome to US Application. My name is Kutemwa Masafwa and I'm an international student at Xavier University of Louisiana. So today we'll be looking at when you should apply to the US. So firstly, we'll look at how semesters are lined up here. Then we'll also look at when deadlines usually fall. And thirdly, we'll look at the types of college admissions that are there and how you can take advantage of them. So hopefully by the end of this video, you know the exact time that you're going to apply and also the kinds of decisions that you're going to choose for each and every school that you apply to. So firstly, we look at the arrangement of semesters. So we have the fall and the spring semester. So the spring semester starts from January and it runs up to May. And then from May until August, we have the summer break. And then the fall semester starts in August and it runs up to December. And then in between December and January, there's the winter break. And then the spring semester starts again in January. So when you're applying, you're either applying to enter in August or in January. So this is important because this is the same system that the high schools use as well. There are still 2 semesters. So you find that typically the time for entering is fall because people would complete high school after the spring semester in about June or May. And if you've watched a lot of movies like me, you know that people usually apply and get their decisions before they finish high school. So you find that by the time August is reaching, they're done and they're going into college. So because fall is the typical time that people usually enter, you find that there's an abundance of scholarships at that time. So I would personally recommend that you apply for the fall semester, but I'm not saying that the spring doesn't have opportunities. Of course it has opportunities, but applying in the fall does have its advantages. Secondly, we'll talk about deadlines. So whether you're applying for the fall or the spring semester, you typically have to apply a year before. So the application season normally starts in about August or September, and then it would run all the way up to January. Most of the deadlines are in January, and then people would be notified of their decisions usually in late March, early April, sometimes even before that. So we have 5 main types of college admissions. The first one I have already mentioned, regular decision. And I've already said when you apply and how it runs. It's the normal application process. And so the advantage of regular decision is that you can apply to as many schools as you want. I know the Common App has a limit of 20 schools, but that's not the only platform that you can use to apply. You can apply through the websites directly. There's also the Black Common App, and you can also apply using a Coalition app and a bunch of other applications. So there's no limit to the number of schools that you can apply to using regular decision. And then the disadvantage is that there's a large pool that you're competing against. There are a lot of applicants, and this is only a disadvantage because of the second type, which is early decision. So this one is the most restrictive and it's a binding decision. So you can only apply to one school early decision, and the way it works is that it's like you're committing to the school before you get into the school. So what you're saying is when you get accepted, you are going to go to that school no matter what. Of course, this has its disadvantages, right? You might not get good financial aid, but because it's binding, you are forced to go to that school. And then maybe it might not be your first choice of a school, and then you would find that maybe you would have gotten into your dream school regular decision, but once you get in early decision, you have to withdraw all your other applications because it's a binding decision. And then the advantage is that you have less competition because people rarely apply early decision just because of the disadvantages that I just mentioned. So early decision is early both ways. I mean that you have to apply early and then you're going to hear back early. So you find that most of the deadlines for early decision would fall between November 1st and November 15th, and then you would hear back by December. So that's another advantage. You get to hear back early. There's no suspense. So after getting your decision, there are 3 possibilities. You are either accepted, rejected, or deferred. So if you're accepted, of course, I mentioned you have to withdraw all your other applications because that decision is binding. And then secondly, if you're rejected, you can still apply to other schools, regular decision, and so on. And then thirdly, you can be deferred. So the other thing about early decision is that the standard which is placed on you as an early decision applicant is much higher than regular decision typically. This is because the school wants to choose you. In as much as you are choosing them as a binding decision, they are choosing you. So there's a higher standard. So what happens is if you do not reach that standard, but they still see that you are a good applicant, they defer you and then they consider you regular decision. So they keep your application and then they look at it in line with the regular decision applicants. And so there are also other possibilities that come in. You could either get accepted after being deferred, or you could also get rejected. It's a 50-50 thing. Thirdly, we have early decision 2. and this is code 2 because you find that the deadline for applications is after the deadlines for early decision 1, so it's like a second chance basically. So it's the same rules, your decision is binding, the only difference is that the deadlines are much later, so you have the same advantages, the same disadvantages. But I know that there are fewer schools that offer early decision 2 compared to just the normal early decision. And then fourthly, we have early action, and this is the same as early decision in that you apply early and you hear back early. The only difference is that early action is not binding, and so you can apply to as many schools early action as you want. This would typically be for people who just don't want to wait until March, because that is a very long time to wait. Trust me, it is a very long time to wait. And then the fifth type of college admission is rolling admission, my personal favorite. This is because there are no deadlines. Typically, there are no deadlines. You can apply at any time of the year that you want. It's a first come first serve kind of thing, so you can apply late and still get accepted. The school I'm at right now, Xavier University of Louisiana, operates on a rolling application basis. So the advantage of rolling admission is that there's no deadline, which I love. And then the disadvantage is that it's first come first serve, meaning that you have to apply early if you want to get in and if you want to get the opportunities, because it means that in as much as you can apply late, people can also apply early. So the most important thing to do is to plan. Now that you know how the system is when deadlines usually are, you have to make sure that you plan your application season in such a way that it's not stressful to you, because it is a lot of work. So you have to make sure that you keep track of the deadlines, because in as much as I have mentioned the general deadlines, schools have different deadlines. So you have to make sure that you don't lose out on an opportunity just because you didn't focus, you didn't check what the deadline is. And also there are certain scholarships that might have deadlines and things like that. So it's just important that you plan way in advance and you keep track of everything as you go, because there's a lot that has the potential to stress you out as you apply. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video to be helpful, please give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. And I would also love to hear your comments if you have any more questions, or if you have a suggestion of a video that you would like me to do. So we're going to have a video specifically talking about scholarships and opportunities at different schools that you can take advantage of. Thank you for watching.